As we all know, the last 2 years have hit many people hard. Around the world, millions of people have lost their jobs, and one of the few sectors which has seen significant growth has been that for the attractive young ladies who take their clothes off on the internet. Now, I find this slightly confusing because it's not like there's loads of free porn out there, and women's undercarriages all look roughly the same. Now, forgive me for being crude, they all look a bit like a bacon sandwich with just a varying degree of how much of the filling has fell out. And of these websites, one of the most well known that's seen the biggest rise since the joys of the Rona arrived is Onlyfans, which is a bit like Pornhub if you bought it from a pound shop. But a British Onlyfans model called Cara Corbridge is doing extremely well out of it. In January this year alone, she made £83,000 and so far has amassed a personal fortune of 2 million. 2 million notes just for exposing her genitals. I just need to amend something. Her name's Kaya, not Cara. And to be frank, I can't be fucked to film that last scene again. Now, I'm not going to be laying into Kaya. If she wants to flash her gash for cash, that's fair enough. And if there are men out there who are willing to pay good money to watch videos of her shoving things into her tradesman's entrance, well, that's their business. And because she's made so much money, Kaya now does freebies for healthcare workers. That's nice, isn't it? I mean, in 2020, at the height of the pandemic, in the UK, on Thursday nights, we were outside clapping the NHS. I don't think it occurred to any of us to help the heroes and heroines of the National Health Service to have a wank. Obviously, I don't know her personally, so I won't be casting any aspersions. Just because she works for OnlyFans doesn't mean that she's had more cocks than a poultry farm. But one of the reasons she's been able to make so much money is she caters to fetishists. And she says one that she's been asked for regularly, but hasn't yet done, is to shave her head. And for me, that presents the question, who are the men who get their jollies looking at people who appear to be undergoing chemotherapy? People who essentially look like me. Just to clarify, I'm not making a joke of anyone undergoing chemotherapy, and also this is male pattern baldness. One thing she does specialise in is covering herself in baked beans. Now, I find that odd because the only time I've witnessed something like that would be at a fundraiser, and I find it disturbing that you could be at a village fete where they're raising money for the fucking church roof, because it's always for the church roof, and there could be some lass sat in a bathtub full of Heinz 57, but in the crowd there could be a bloke with a hard-on so fierce it's pulling the skin tight around his neck. Another thing, which apparently some of her followers ask of her, is if she'll accompany them as a +1 to weddings. Now, to me, that sounds like a somewhat awkward situation. You're at a friend's wedding, there's a load of people you don't know, and you have to introduce this attractive lady as, this is a woman I pay money to, so she'll send me videos that allow me to furiously masturbate. But she makes her big money from one very unusual fetish: pretending to be a giant. Now, height fetishes are nothing new. Psychologically, it's usually linked to some form of arrested development, a point in childhood when adults are huge compared to the infant. And that also explains why when you meet those women who only date tall men, they tend to be a bit fucking backward. However, Miss Corbridge has taken this to a new level. She takes her camera and places it on the floor and angles it upwards to make her appear very tall. Then, using a Lego figure to represent the client paying for the video, she stands on it. Now, what the merry fuck is going through the head of the men who are consuming this? Okay, so there's likely to be some messy childhood stuff in there, a thing about being dominated, and probably a foot fetish, which is something I can't get my head around, because if you're going to fixate on a part of a woman's body, why the feet? There's much more interesting stuff going on. But I cannot comprehend who gets off by fantasising about being crushed to fucking death. But like I said, I don't blame her. I mean, she's a nice looking girl. And to be blunt, if I could become a millionaire by catering to the whims of the internet's finest weirdos and perverts and selling photos of my arsehole, then yes, I'd do it. And on that beautiful mental image, as ever, thanks for watching. I'll fucking wank it. Few growth industries has been, well, fuck it. In the background, I can hear the faint noise of a quad bike. the sound that heralds the arrival of a moron. By catering to fetish. Well, fuck it. Also, why am I upside down? She doesn't bake her money, she fucking makes it, down, you thick twat. To appear crude. But they all look a bit, I can't fucking say it. But fucking can't remember that line. Shit. And for seagulls. Fuck off up the coast.